Hey kids! What's
Hi guys!
shaking? Hey!
I
Hold
know
on,
it's
my
been
mic's
a
really
long time.
high.
I missed your faces.
Yes.
Don't
Who
feel
we
bad.
got
I
in
haven't
here
gotten to see
today?
Amy this week. It's been
I
like
saw
usually.
some drama in the chat about my husband Alan Jackson.
Yeah,
What
what's
is
happening
happening
with AJ?
with yummy Alan Jackson? We have
Hey
Noodle.
Mary,
Hi
Ms. Noodle
Noodle.
Noodles. So
And
Rico,
Nick.
I've been reading your messages in here, and it said, "Did you see what happened to Bev today?" And then
What Bev did.
what
Yeah.
Bev did to AJ, and then said AJ at the end of the day asked to see a list, which they've put in two requests for, two motions for it.
Right.
And then
Why can't they have a fucking witness list?
Meth said, Mr. Jackson, why do you want me and Mr. Brennan's list? This is how we do things in Mass. So
You got it fucked up, Bev.
you're already
Ass
on
is
thin
fucked
ice.
up.
Your request is denied. Thin ice, bite my ass, bitch. You ain't have nothing on him. Mary. WTF. That's right, Mary.
Hey, Barry. Oh, my friend Barry.
Hi,
He
Barry.
is a longtime friend. We lived in Boston together, and really, really good man. He actually is a TikTok star, aren't you, Barry?
Nice to meet you,
You can
Barry.
go follow Barry on TikTok. I think he's Super Dad on
Here,
TikTok.
you're on
I don't
TikTok.
know TikTok, Barry. I'm sorry.
Hi,
Remy. What? Yeah, Super Dad.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep. He is a single dad of three boys.
Blue eyes, my girl.
Blue eyes. And we got, Jim Clown, my honey bunny. We got Blue. We have a Mary.
Jim is in the house.
And Mary. Huh?
Clerk Jim is in the house.
I don't know, but my ear, I can't hear. Hold on. Good grief.
Is it just Super Dad, or is it like Super Dad in the house?
I went the wrong way. Okay. So I'm like sick. I had my first full week of work this week. I'm back at work, kids. I'm back at work. Your girl is back on her hustle.
I'm struggling with that. Super Dad, that you're back at work.
I'm back at work. I'm having a full week.
I'm struggling with that.
Yeah, it feels good. I feel like myself again. I feel like there's like some rhyme and reason in my life again, you know? I think I was fighting with some depression there for a while, like between like all the stress of my life and the hurt and the this and the that and all the things. That is my friend Barry.
Got him?
That's him. Handsome thing. There he is.
My blur doesn't work at.
I can tell it's him.
Okay. Is it Barry? Barry, we're besties now. I got you on TikTok.
Barry bestie. I just saw, here he is. Hey, Bob.
21,000 followers.
Bob, you flatter me. Am I red? Hi, Toots.
So sweet. Toots, my girl.
It's Super Dad in the house. Exactly.
I got it.
Barry has 3 sons. He's been a single dad for decades, and his son, he has twin boys with disabilities, and he is a fucking rock star. Yeah, he's amazing.
That means that you and I will get along great because my son.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys should talk.
Yeah. So I do want to kind of, before we start, there's a couple little things that we wanted to go over. I do want to talk about, so you guys know I went to St. Jude this weekend. I haven't really announced it on Facebook or anything like that. So we had Liam's scans. His brain MRI came back normal. Well, not normal, but stable. I say normal because it's normal for what we see every 3 months.
Normal for you. Yeah.
But his brain tumors are stable. However, his noodles, his spine MRI came back with changes. And that could be, it could be two things, and neither one are good. So Liam has neurofibromatosis. So if you guys have never heard of that, do not Google.
Yeah.
Google has the worst case scenarios. It will scare the crap out of you. So don't Google. But it can cause tumors, benign tumors also, to grow on any nerve ending in the body. And so there is an enhancement in his spine MRI that shows one of two things. It could mean the cancer from his optic pathway gliomas have spread to his spine and inside his spinal fluid, or it could mean that he has possible benign neurofibromas, these little tumors growing in that spot, which that's what we would rather have. However, that could cause him to be paralyzed if they're get big enough. So nothing is really, nothing's good. And I've been trying to, like, I'm thinking positive.
It's hard when it's your kid. It's like,
I'm thinking positive, but I am realistic about what our options are. So we have to go back in 3 months. We go every 3 months. And so we go back in 3 months, and then we'll do the MRI then and see if what the enhancement is at that point. Then they'll make a decision. If that's the case, we possibly have to stay there for a while for him to start getting lumbar puncture chemo into his spine. And thank you, Toots.
Hey, Clarissa, good to see you.
You guys, I'm not trying to get pity. Okay, I don't.
Oh no, I mean it's your life. It is what it is, right? I
want you guys to know, because you guys all knew I was going to St. Jude and what my son goes through. So, any prayers or anything that you want to ask for? Because if it is the cancer spreading and I have to move up there with the boys, it's going to be a very financially big struggle for us. So, we gotta figure that all out. But I won't know anything for 3 months, and that's the hard part.
They no, I mean, not those
guys. You guys are gonna make me cry.
They thought that originally they had thought that my cancer metastasized to my spine, and luckily I'm just all jacked up from cheerleading fucking 30 years ago. So
you guys,
we care about you, and we care about Liam because Liam matters, just like Dan and Andy. They matter.
Yeah. If you guys want to, I can try to share a picture of Liam. When we went to St. Jude.
That, actually my man Barry here actually raised money for me as well. And so he is amazing fundraiser. We actually did a fundraiser for him and his family about 20 years ago so they could get a disabled accessible home in Boston. And he still lives there. Yeah. So he's your man. I'll hook you up with him.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, don't tell my husband, but so Liam
when you see him, you might change your mind.
I'm 5'3", my son is 11, and he's 5 foot tall. But he is and very strong. So it took 4 of, I'm trying to find the best picture I took. It took 4 of them. Here you go. It took 4 of us to hold him down just to access his port. He's so strong. So this is Declan, my youngest, and then Liam in the wagon. So
Declan's my boyfriend. He likes older women. He likes cougars.
Yes, Declan. He made
Declan. Everyone. He was my girlfriend.
Download WhatsApp so that he could personally talk to Amy and Nikki. So
I know.
I'm like, my child is 9 going on like 29 trying to hook up with people. So
I'm sorry that I sound like this, guys, and if I'm hacking in your ear, I apologize for that too.
We are in the same boat, Noodles. I know it's a little bit different, but you know what I feel. So but that's Declan and Liam, and
Declan's in the front, Liam was in the back.
No, Liam's in the front.
Yeah, I said Liam's in the front, Declan's in the back.
You said it backwards.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I meant.
No. Do you not know?
No, I swear to God, I said anyway, I digress. All right, let's we're waiting for True Crime with Eve, but we can just get started. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what the fuck is happening outside the courthouse. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
It is like a third world country out there.
So are we going? We're talking about buffer zone, right? Buffer zone. Is that where we're going?
The buffer zone. Yeah, buffering Bev decided that she was going to.
Oh, look who's here!
Oh, she's here. All right. Without further ado, here's our girl Eve.
Here's our girl Eve. Hello.
Hey, baby.
Oh, these kids, y'all.
What's girl? You know, I hear ya. Got the mom panel.
I'm over it.
I'm Kelly. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Kelly. Nice to meet you. Hi, everybody.
But don't worry. This is a real life channel. We have kids, dogs, cats, husbands.
Yes, we got all the things. Chinchillas.
Hold on. I'll be like, stop.
And husbands are kids. I don't care what anybody says. Husbands are kids. Period.
We had that conversation today too.
No, I was smart enough to not have one.
I'm my second one. So
yeah, they are.
I'm about to be. I'm telling you. On this. Yeah. Just kidding, Mr. Eve, for listening.
Mr. Eve. So have you been following what's going on? Like, I know you have, but it was kind of rhetorical. And the craziness that is happening outside of Dedham Superior Court is fucking wild.
It's just insane.
Like there's just people suing, statey suing civilians, suing Judge Canoni.
Currently 3 suits.
I'm behind that one.
There are 3.
She needs to be accountable for at least one thing. And if it's the buffer zone, cool. We'll take it, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, even let them back to where they were the prior. You know, last year it was fine. You don't have to let them all the way, or you don't have to push him. He went from 200 feet to 200 yards.
Right.
That's insane. It makes it look like no one is supporting her, you know?
Right.
That's crazy.
And now they're trying to tell us, you know, us bystanders, us as supporters, that we are not allowed to be on a public sidewalk if we want to. That it is the statey's choice of who stays and who goes. There were people threatened to be in handcuffs and arrested today.
It's crippled. It's 600 feet instead of 200.
That's right.
200 yards, which would be 600 feet, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But my thing is like the stateies are just losing their mind. Like ripping stickers off of a van that it was like this big. It wasn't even that big. That's assault. Like,
right.
What are you doing? And then telling Michael Bryant from Justice Served, you can't walk on. You've already gone by 4 times or 5 times. Don't do it.
There's a limit.
It's a public sidewalk. As long as you do something.
How do you know it's a Karen Reed supporter?
Right.
I know true. Well, because none of the blue shirts come out.
There's probably somebody in your ear going, that's a Karen Reed. That's it. You know, a normal
even
person.
If it was an anti Karen Reed supporter, if that's what you want to call them, no one can wear garb. Like no one can wear any gear. So it wouldn't matter who was what. No one can tell. Like there's a few people in like a 3-piece suit. I think Tom showed up today in a nice tie. But no one's wearing anything.
He was in both. He was dressed up both days.
It blows my mind that this is happening. Like in general, down here in the South, we kind of do what we do. And if it's unconstitutional, everyone's on the same page, more or less, unless you're in Austin, which is like a very liberal area. Typically, if it hinders your constitutional rights, we're going to throw a fit. And we're not going to quit because Alan Jackson's from Texas. He knows what I'm talking about.
We ain't got
no quit. And we'll just do it anyway. Arrest assault. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, like the thing is that the only people that are apparently against the Constitution are the government in Massachusetts because all of the residents are supporting it wholeheartedly. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing, like here, so it's a little bit different, but like Medicaid here, my son's on disability Medicaid and he has autism. They were trying to change the rules to make it hard for you to get ABA for your child. And so they were having meetings all over the state. And the meeting in Orlando, I coordinated the protest. And we had over 2,000 moms and dads show up to the meeting in Orlando. Only 150 were allowed in the meeting. I was in the meeting and I spoke. And then I drove my ass to Jacksonville the second day and did it again, which is 3 hours.
Awesome.
Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to let it happen. And they ended up lowering it to what the standards weren't so bad, but we still had to jump. I've had to have my child diagnosed with autism 3 times by 3 separate doctors for Medicaid to pay for his stuff.
That's crazy.
And know he's autistic. Like you could be around him for 5 minutes and 2 minutes and no. So
did you wear blue for
so Eve, why don't you start us off? Why don't
Yes, I wear blue.
I did too.
Do. I used to make a big deal of it like on my Facebook and stuff, but not since my mom passed. I kind of have a hard time making a big deal about it. I mean, I still so.
Hi, Mary.
Mary, so sweet.
She is so sweet.
So
she's so sweet.
What did you guys hear anything about the court case today that was at 2:30?
The lawsuit against Bev.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything about. I think they were heard on something, but I don't know what happened to it.
I can kind of.
They were heard at the federal building. They weren't heard at a jurisdiction that would have been like any type of press or I guess there could be press there, but no people, like no supporters there. That's for sure.
So J.M. Lawrence, who's Boston Justice, she was doing some live tweeting. She didn't, not a lot, but just a little bit. And she said, I'll read it really quickly. Judges on the bench, plaintiffs Mark Grandenza comes out swinging, running down a list of famous trials, including the most famous in Norfolk Superior Court's Sacco and Vanzetti, names, I can't pronounce it, Sarnez bombing trial here at the federal court, Randazza says. And then it says, he said that Judge Cannoni offered free Karen Reed supporters no due process when creating a new buffer zone. And the judge said, are you saying a judge has no power to protect jurors and witnesses? And that was what the judge asked him. And he said, no, but I expect the judge to be expects a judge to be creative in fashioning ways to respond to free speech concerns. She can't come out of the courthouse and say that property over there is now under my jurisdiction. It doesn't work that way. And
it's discriminatory.
Yeah. And then she said, Judge June said that FKR litigation asked him to undo what Cannoni has already done. And I'm not sure I have that power. Randazza, but now bringing up the fact that he sees as overbroad police powers outlined in Judge Cannoni's buffer zone order, says federal judge has the power over that. He can certainly speak to outside the courthouse as to how it's going to be enforced. I think you can tailor what the police can do under the Constitution. What if we said we were going to rendition everyone to Guantanamo Bay who protest? Ask, and then
I think they would if they could.
Yeah. Well, they already
shipped Tommy CPU on the first fucking bus. They'd be like, see you, Tommy.
They have a van waiting to I mean, they said they could use physical force. And then it says free Karen Reed supporters were assaulted this week by attorney Randazza, or by police. Randazza tells the federal court, he says police ripped a FKR sticker off a man's jacket. 2 lawsuits that incident just filed in federal court. One involves a content creator, not Turtle Boy, attempting to interview the free Karen Reed reporter. Police shut it down. Video offered. Now that was Michael Bryant. That was not Tommy. A lot of people were like, that's Tommy. I'm like, no, it's Michael Bryant from Justice Served. And then she said, Commonwealth now arguing. Assistant AG John said filed with the court affidavits from state police and from one unnamed juror who reported hearing chanting and cheering during the first trial. He says plaintiffs could have brought their concerns about the new buffer zone to the state courts. It's a little curious plaintiffs have chosen to go this route. Judge said the fact that the defendant, Karen Reed, has not taken a position on this, how should I consider that? Commonwealth said it has no bearing on the issue. Judge asks for clarification on the difference between the zone and last trial. Expanded zone puts off-limit green space where free Karen Reed gathered, creating noise. Hitt said he notes old courthouse has old windows and no soundproof, but sirens can go off nonstop.
Or air conditioning.
I will turn it off if you don't talk louder.
Are we going to get the fan again? Are we in the same courtroom?
You're going to get the fan again.
I love that fan. The fan is me. I am the fan, just spinning in circles with this case.
Yeah.
Then she said, no allegations against jurors or witnesses were harassed and imitated outside of the courthouse, judge asks. Commonwealth said noise is the primary concern, but Judge Cannoni also expressed concern about effect on jurors and witnesses. Karen Reed supporters, why am I getting brought up by my child? What? Go away. Hurry up.
I feel it. I feel
he
you.
Wants to say hello. He wants to say hello.
I can't have 5 minutes. Hey,
Douglas. This is a mom's. I'm waiting for mine to come in any minute.
It's happening.
He's for sale. So if anybody wants to start bidding, I mean, I might
Boston, honey.
you.
I call Amy.
He calls Amy. Amy's his girlfriend.
That's right.
All right. Bye. Peace out.
Aww.
Peace out.
Text me on WhatsApp, Amy. Let me on.
I will.
Bread.
Like you haven't.
He's got some swag. That's what he has.
You're gonna be able to pull him.
That boy is so witty. One day he told me in the car, "Mom, did you bring it?" And I was like, "Bring what?" He's like, "A better attitude." And I was like, "Your butt's going to the 7-Eleven, and your dad can pick you up." No. So
that's awesome.
She said that since there was no allegations of jurors or witnesses being harassed or intimidated outside the courthouse, Commonwealth says the noise was the primary concerns, but Judge Cannoni also expressed concern about effect on jurors and witnesses. And then she's said,
full of shit.
Yeah,
she is full of shit.
Karen Reed supporters are waiting to claim
she just trials it every single day. The fucking the fire trucks and the ambulances that go past there. That's a main
aren't
street
even on calls. It's practice runs. They're not real calls. They're doing practice runs.
Even better. So you allow that every day, Beverly, when there was another officer being, there was a trial for Officer Chinese who was murdered in Weymouth, Massachusetts, and you just let that shit fly? Because that was fine then. It's just not fine today because you have something against Karen Reed and her attorneys. So what do you think of everything that's been going on? I haven't seen you on Tom's panel, so I know. I'm fascinated what you have to say.
Okay. I went down a rabbit hole of all rabbit holes with the federal investigation. I was like, I need to learn about this anyway. I have always been curious how the feds or when the feds have ever intervened into a local state case, because it's kind of unconstitutional. They don't usually do that. However, Massachusetts kind of laid the way actually for this to become what it is way before this. So in the 70s and 80s, there was corruption going on. Actually, it was going on in Illinois, and it was kind of mafia-ish ties with New York. And it was kind of happening all over the United States. But Massachusetts, it infiltrated into the government, the Senate, the House of Reps, and all of that stuff. So the U.S. attorneys at the time, there was 2 that created this document that's now unclassified that goes down the list of how they came to know about the corruption, who was involved. And, it's kind of like a guideline for U.S. attorneys who are going to prosecute public corruption on what to do and what not to do. And I'm telling you, I'm reading this and I'm going, that's Beverly. That's Beverly. That's Brian Tolley. This sounds just like what's going on right now when I'm reading all of this stuff. For instance, one of the biggest things that kind of like the light bulb went off was they were talking about how do you prosecute a judge and how can you prove that a judge is being bribed if there's no money, no trail, but they're making moves that are legal, they're good on paper, all of this stuff. Well, money doesn't have to be a bribe. It could be the outcome of a trial. It could be the outcome or a delay of a federal investigation into a trial.
Any gain, right? Like any gain.
She's falling into every single trap. And this is why I feel like Hanky Spanky is either a plant or he really is that much of a piece of fucking garbage. Like it's either one or the other.
I believe
or both. But I think
I was going to say, yeah,
because if you think about it, Whitey Bulger, right? And then you got Kevin Weeks. And even though people say that McCabe's or Jen McCabe and her sister are not their maiden name is Weeks, that they're not connected, but yet they use Kevin Reddington, who was connected to Whitey Bulger as well as a lawyer. Like it's literally the circle is coming around, and I don't care what anybody says. I firmly believe those Weeks are still connected to the Mr. Kevin Weeks from the Bulger case, because there's no way there's not. Like it's too small of an area, especially for that kind of last name. It's not like it's Smith. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's Weeks. So
the public integrity section of the U.S. Department of Justice, who I basically know everything they do now, they have increased their public corruption crime investigations by 216% in the last 5 years. That's a lot.
Wow.
So something in the last 5 years prior to the Biden election, something triggered them to hone in on Boston. Boston has been probably, we know that Massachusetts, specifically Boston, corruption has infiltrated into the highest of high. And I think that that's why, because it is affecting presidential things. It's integrated so badly that they had to investigate. They had to go in and see what was going on with a multitude of things. So they basically created, because of Massachusetts alone in New York, they created the public integrity section. That's pretty wild.
Shocker.
And they're the ones that are infiltrating into these local trials that you won't know that they are. For instance, and I don't want to allege that this is happening in the Karen Reed case. This is all alleged. Do not come for me at all. But they will plant jurors. They have done it in the past in Illinois. I think it was called, Blue something. It was like a Operation Blue something in Illinois, where they infiltrated a prosecutor, a special prosecutor, to then relay the information back to the feds, because they were the DA's office there was so corrupt that they couldn't get what they were needing to prosecute the DA's office. And then they ended up taking down big mafia dudes at the same time. But the judges were the ones helping them, because they are the gatekeepers of information, right? Right. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you get that information? A plant.
Right. Well, and then look at Bev shutting down the whole Fanning thing of being the head of the court security at Dedham for her last trial. Just so happened that Victoria George was let go as an alternate when she was clearly against the Commonwealth. And that was reported way before we knew who Victoria George was. Aiden had reported that she was very hurt. You could see it on her face that she did not like Michael Proctor. She was gone. And then the person that they took Fanning's word about, the lady down at the VFW, Joe, there's like 38 VFWs in Norfolk County. Right. And they didn't specifically say which one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wondered.
Bev doubled down on all of that day to Alan Jackson, or
that's not the way I see it, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, and she don't see anything but what you want to see.
Up in the chat before we started, we had RICO in here, and he had said, I'm going back, hold on. He has said that Jackson asked, okay, so AJ asked for,
It's true.
there you go. AJ asked at the end of the day to see the list, the jury list that they've already motioned twice for. And then that Bev said, Mr. Jackson, why do you want me and Brennan's list? Well, when did it become me and Brennan? Isn't that supposed to be two separate entities? It should be Commonwealth and the judge. And it says, and this is how we do things in Mass. That's her favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she told him he was already on thin ice and his request is denied. And he,
I mean, Beverly, come on, Bev.
Right.
I mean, like, you really have a set of kahunas if you think that is going to look good for you, right, federally, because she thinks she's immune. She really does. But go look at the Hawaii case from 2021 where they prosecuted the whole freaking town. The DA's office, the judges, everybody that was involved in this corruption. You're not immune to everything. Things are changing. It's not like it was before. Right. So I don't know what high horse she got on, but she's about to get stepped off of it real fast.
I feel like
doesn't stop.
She's trying to direct it to a guilty verdict. You know, she's got Karen's arm tied behind her back, and that's how they're fighting. And she doesn't, I mean, she's denying everything that they put in. And there's no reason for these people to be denied. She approved an animal behaviorist against her own order.
Did Garrett ever get
she
approved?
She denied him.
Yeah.
And Easter. Well, wait, why is Easter on the list if she denied him to come in as an expert as well?
She denied.
She read them out loud.
They were already on the list.
And she needs to take all the motherfucking seats by calling Michael Proctor a state trooper. He is a disgraced former fucking statey. He is not. He is not. Stop giving him that title.
Do you know that?
Did they release his report yet? Like his actual IA?
I haven't seen it. I would have gone to Twitter.
They did release like what charges that he was found guilty on. Actually, let me see. I might have it.
Yeah, I don't know if they went into the details of how they investigate. I don't think they do. But that would be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It had to have been
information about it would be great
for them.
I would like to know when they started it. And when it well, we obviously know it ended right after the trial. How fucking ironic is that?
Yeah. I know that they're making him an example, but I feel like a lot of other people need to be called out about that stuff.
Oh, Remy just says that we can FOIA them.
Yeah, I think I need to do that. I think that was one of the things that slipped, but I was waiting for him to be fired first to get the full potato, because I think that you don't get everything until there is a determination and then like an action to it. So thank you for reminding me. I will do that.
Okay, let me see. That's the statement. Okay, so this is what I got. Let me make sure I can do this the right way. I'm still slow at this part, just so you know.
Man, Proctor Trooper. He didn't think he was going to be in this position. I really don't think he thought this was going to be the end result. It was just going to be pitted on the girl and, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They thought when they upped it to second-degree murder that she would have taken a plea deal, and she was like, "Yeah, you can take that and shove it."
Anybody that was poor like me would probably do that. I mean, like, that's the reality. My broke ass would be like, I guess, shit, this is expensive. I got kids. Yeah.
I do believe Proctor is a fact guy, but I believe that there are other people, like the internal investigations into Tully and Buchanan and all them were not done correctly. But he's their scapegoat. So it does say the findings in the trial board held January 15th, 2025, February 10th, and March 13th. In pursuance with a personal order. Have you seen this one, Eve?
I have, but I just forgot about the dates.
Yeah. So it says
that's what I was looking at.
Dated January 6th, having been approved by the Colonel Superintendent Trooper Michael D. Proctor, ID 3863 is hereby found guilty on all two charges, but different subcharges. Says on Trooper Proctor on various dates between January 29th and August 17th of 22 did fail to conform to the work standards established for the member's rank and title position, and or did fail to take appropriate actions on the occasion of a crime, disorder, or other conditions serving the state police attention. This occurred when Trooper Proctor, while assigned as lead investigator, sent derogatory, defamatory, disparaging order and otherwise inappropriate text messages about a suspect in the investigation to other individuals. And then this one says it occurred when Trooper Proctor was assigned as the lead investigator in homicide investigation, provided sensitive and or confident information to the homicide victim about homicide victim, potential witnesses, or any potential investigation steps in the investigation to non-law enforcement personnel, which would be his sister, who says they didn't, but obviously they did. And it says this occurred when Trooper Proctor, while assigned as the lead investigator in the homicide investigation, through his unprofessional and inappropriate conduct, created an image that he is biased in his feelings with a homicide suspect and or brought otherwise himself and the Massachusetts State Police into disrepute. This action is violation. And then it was the one of him drinking with Kevin.
So got shit-faced with Kevin, and Kevin lost his gun and badge and still has a job. He is still on the police force in Canton.
He has a 3-week paid leave.
Your protector, Canton.
I mean, like, do you know how many lives he put in danger for doing that? Not just getting drunk and all that, but leaving his gun and badge. I mean, God, that could have really went sideways. So for him to have a job, I don't get it.
I love the anti-Karen Reeds. They're like, he had a drink at lunch, bitch.
It's okay for an accountant like me to go get shit faced, okay? Because it's a tough job. You're a fucking police officer who has to protect people.
When another man calls you and says, "Dude, how are you feeling? Because I'm feeling like crap. Oh, by the way, do you have my gun and my badge?"
That's not. And I just want to clear something up too. Hold on, wait. I just want to clear something up. Like Proctor might be the Karen Reed 2.0 trials fall guy. Okay, I mean he was in the beginning too, right? But we didn't know what we know now. But he was a willing, ready, and able participant in the whole thing. He deserved. He did this to himself. He did this to his kids. No one else did this to Michael Proctor, but Michael Proctor. Just like Jim McCabe and the Alberts. Yeah. They
what did he say?
Themselves.
She's fucked.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
That is right there. It was already established. And you could go back to Lank. I'm telling you, Lank, that dude is the one that helped facilitate a lot of shit behind the scenes. I'm telling you. I bet you that he is probably even worse than Tully is. Because I have a rank of these motherfuckers. And poor Proctor Trooper, he's at the bottom. He's already fired. So, I mean, he was the dumbass. Like, he's the low-hanging fruit that they knew.
I'm not negating what he had to do with it at all. But, I mean, I feel like him and Brian Albert were the brains of it, trying to pour together. But I do feel like Tully and Buchnick and all them have just let him take in the fall for it all.
No, well, sure. I don't think Buchnick was right there when he was hacking up the back fucking light. He was taking pictures of the light that there was nothing wrong in the front. While Proctor is hacking up Karen's car in the back with the inverted video, he is just as complicit in this as everyone else, and he had a week's pay taken away. Oh, for shame!
Rafferty is just as complicit in the videos.
No tampering, lol.
Right?
Does she still want to have that meeting with the Canton, the public of Canton? Like, does she want to meet up now? I really think that would be a great idea. Let's see what she has to say to everybody because she said that anytime you want to meet, okay.
They're meeting
Where is
Saturday
she?
to go over at the Canton High School to go over the audit.
Didn't she somehow get onto the Canton Audit Committee?
Yeah. So when the audit happened,
I just heard about this.
So
yeah, and it was like late to the game. Like she wasn't the original. She wasn't the original committee. They
had that one dude and the two people on our side, pretty much, and then 3-2. And then after they hired the company, it was then released that they disbanded that committee, and Bob McCarthy and then Helena Rafferty and I believe one of the guys in town that runs like part of the town stuff, they became the overseers of the audit. So that's why
safe. That was the right thing to do. That was a good decision.
Yeah.
And Bob, didn't Bob do something where he elected them on his own, where they weren't voted in? He elected them in, and that's
the company.
I mean,
the company.
No, the members, the ones that you're talking about.
I think
David said something about that in the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, and then this week, all of a sudden you turn it on and it's David and all of them back up again. And I'm like, they weren't even there for the audit. And now they're the ones questioning and they're like 3-2, 3-2. I was just like, oh my God, like, I don't know how they.
I'm so mad about the leaf blower. The leaf blower was an inventive or ingenious way. Bitch, I lost my shit when I read that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, the doctor?
You've got to be kidding me.
It was ingenious to use
yeah, he gave it a that a boy. You're so inventive.
If people are going to use leaf blowers to get evidence, I swear I better not see another case where there's a leaf blower being used to uncover evidence in the snow.
And this is my thing. Someone left the 34 Fairview property to go to their home to get their personal leaf blower to bring it back, but they didn't go to the Canton PD to get
evidence collection
tape, evidence bags. But they went to Kelleher's house across the street and got the open container of Solo cups. And what my mind
it ended up on the floor of the Sally Port, just sitting there
for days.
What in the hell?
For days.
I've never in my whole entire sleuthing career watching trials have seen this. Never.
Bro, not in backwoods Maine. Like, you're in Canton. You are literally on the Boston border. You are right there. You are not backwoods anywhere. Girl, you know better. You should know better.
We were talking about the Whitakers in West Virginia yesterday. The Whitakers could have done a better job at investigating this, okay?
Was anyone else floored that the audit committee, the audit people, the audit company said that they did the best that they could and they did a great job? Was anyone fucking floored? I'm an IT. I'm a nerd, okay? I am a fucking Poindexter nerd, and I can tell from here that what they did was wrong. And these people they audit people? What? The fuck is happening?
That's why they hired.
I'm swearing a lot tonight.
No, I get it.
Oh my God.
I get it.
It's wild.
I mean, and then you have okay, so I put as an example today. So my brother-in-law is a police officer in our hometown here. We just had a case and it's different, but it's a murder. They charged with murder. It is the murder of a young child with child abuse. They used weights and all kinds of stuff, and they are going for the death penalty for this mom and this stepdad. And my brother-in-law sat outside that house for 2 days. That's all he did in his car. That was his post for 2 days. And they took turns doing it for 2 weeks. John O'Keefe didn't even get 2 minutes.
Right.
And
Does it go
he's my
anyone
friend.
else's
I
ass
love
that
him.
Bev refuses to call him Officer O'Keefe?
Yeah.
I want to punch her in the fucking mouth. Like, how dare you, you disrespectful piece of shit. That runs through my head every time I hear her go, John O'Keefe.
Did you
Mr.
look
Jackson.
into Five Stones, Eve?
I did. They do a lot of different things, especially cybersecurity. They're very honed in on that part of things. So they're not really in the I don't know, what could you do better because it was really out of line. It's what they do more of what you could prevent from happening, which I guess is kind of the same thing. But in this situation, it really seems to me like they took it upon themselves to insert their opinions, which I haven't seen in an audit. I'm an accountant and I deal with audits a lot. And I have never seen, a accounting firm say, we really think that your boss is an excellent, outstanding person of the community. Never. That's not something that you dive into when you're doing an audit. You're supposed to be, objective, and you're supposed to be looking at it from, a clear view, not a lens, like a film. And it's obvious to me that it was guided by bias. If you look at it, it's totally.
Mm-hmm. Well, they tried the camera situation in the audit. Oh, well, it's camera activated or motion activated. Then why is 48 minutes missing when they're literally walking around the car?
They didn't investigate. This is what the guy said in the meeting. Well, we're not investigating, if it's true or not. What they're telling us, we take it for face value and we go, here we are, that this is why things happen. That is erroneous. That you can't just say take it for face value when it's obvious it's been played in court that those cameras were fucked with, manipulated. 100%. So how dare you say, well, we just take the information that we're given and then we, run our biased ass opinion on it and then say something false in an audit.
Yeah.
Or shame on you, Five Stones. Like,
shame
0
on
stars.
You. Tisk. They did with what that town paid them to come in, and then they allowed the chief of police, who is like a main name in this whole situation of her being just as corrupt as everybody else. They allowed that.
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's a shame. Like, why even have an audit? Why did they pay those people whatever they paid? I forget, it was like $200,000.
I'm waiting for Spanky to enter this as an emotion. Look, because they're bringing in, what's that guy's name? Not Jerry Wing. I can't remember his name. The person that is not qualified, but then denied the defense. Their, rebuttal witness, basically. Yes. So Spanky's going to take this opportunity to take this audit and say, Bev.
Yeah.
To offset all of the damage.
I do feel there are good points in the audit about John's investigation, stating that solo cups should not be used.
But they said it in one section and then finished up was like, great job, guys. So you're going to contradict yourself in the audit too. You're going to say that because in an audit, you're supposed to tell me if I'm wrong, Eve, like you're supposed to give what your findings are and then recommendations, right? Of how you can be better, because that's what Canton needs to be, is better. And they basically said all of these things. And at the end, from what I read, they were like, great job, guys. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
There were such defamatory and false statements in that audit. Like, there is now a defamatory liability on them. And if I were Aiden, I would sue the shit out of them. No questions asked. If they said that about me, the things that they said, oh yeah, you getting a lawsuit, boo-boo, today. Because it's
until
it could, because it's Beverly, could be entered as, not evidence, but, witness testimony. They could bring them in and say, what did you think about all of this? And you said this in this report, this audit report, and then here we go, right? And then they could manipulate the jury into thinking that this is all a sham by the defense, because that's what they want. They want the jury to think that this is not happening. And it is, I am pretty amazed at the amount of wherewithal, audacity first, but tenacity to keep this sham going. Like, they ain't got no quit. They really don't. And
if I didn't know any better, you'd think that they got bought too. How do you get an audit committee to change? I've never seen anything like it.
They literally said the Sandra Birchmore case was fine. Nothing was wrong.
The Sandra Birchmore case is okay. Everyone did a great job, guys.
I think a lot of people drink in Massachusetts, and I really do think that
alcohol and audacity.
Yeah. Listen, I have had many of drinks in my day, but I think it hits a little different in Massachusetts because the audacity is giving 5 days worth of drinking straight. Okay.
Yep.
The audacity.
It's
insane.
Yeah.
It's like the people who think that they're untouchable, law enforcement, government, and people that are associated to them that want the protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have these like people from wherever they come in, and then all of a sudden, like, who's to say that they weren't like threatened or we don't know.
We have secrets, and then we're going to out them. You have a
there's
side
a
piece
lot
that
of
we found out about. Who knows? And it wouldn't
Brian has a lot
put
of
it past me with Kate, crusty, doing
Oh,
her shit, her dirty work. I can't wait for you to eat your crow. I can't wait. And you will, Miss Ma'am, you will.
Wait to see her perp walk.
She posted the video, or she posted a picture that they did a billboard sign for John, which I'm happy about.
Photoshop that stuff.
That
bitch still got money.
No, I don't think it's Photoshop, because the one picture she showed has trees.
You can't buy that with food stamps.
Yeah, has tree branches in front of it, so it looks like
not there's anything wrong with food stamps, people. I'm just saying.
Hey, get $30, okay, or $18.
I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but like if you fuck around and find out, I'll make fun of the fact you have an EBT card
for my food stamp.
When you're behaving like that, yes.
When you behave like crusty, yeah.
Well, she put those things up, and today she said, "Oh, this isn't the only one. There's 3. That's 2 more than Karen Reed's. What is a fucking competition? If you're putting a sign up, great."
It is. Trusty wants to be Aiden so bad, but she's so bad at it. You can't do it, ma'am. Sit all the fuck way down. You're never gonna be him.
Did you see
all the seats, Kate?
Did you see her post after that protection order went in, the court case where he asked for, and she was like, "If I go missing, someone needs to look at Aiden and Karen." Because I'm like, bitch, nobody's coming after you. Nobody even wants.
No one wants to hurt you, Kate. Yeah,
it's actually the other way around.
Yeah,
if Aiden's missing, bitch, you're the first one I'm calling out. Where is he, Krusty? Where is he?
That's a fact. If Aiden ever goes missing, Kate Peters is the first person that should be looked at.
Or LG fake victim.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Or both.
Her, right?
Oh, and they hate. That's another thing that they hate, Robin.
But like, the state, the Commonwealth has who do they have in their side that's working for them on the outside? They have Plevin and Kate Peters. That's who they can come up with to help them.
They ain't leaking that shit to them. Hank is leaking all that right to all the information right to him, and that's why Turtle Boy asked for the protection order.
Listen, the more the feds can have against whatever they're going after, if there's 18 people and there's 2 more that they could, interview or get to the grand jury just to talk, they're going to let it play out. They're going to let it play out. And I think that's why KP is still and Plevin are still doing their thing. But one day it's just going to stop. Just watch. One day it's just not going to happen anymore.
Well, there was
Someone
a
said that
posted that video from Court TV that he said that he went and talked to her, and and there it says it's pretty big around other people, not her. She's staying tight-lipped about it, but other people in that office are saying that they will be stepping in. I never thought the investigation was over, personally.
No, it was just like that portion of it. It's still active, as it should be.
Why would they call
someone wrote up here? They're like, they're just going to keep replaying this trial. And in my opinion, if Karen Reed just have another mistrial, they are bringing it again and again and again until they get a definitive answer. They're too far in. There are too many people sold to this idea, this conspiracy against Karen Reed in the state of Massachusetts, Bev included. My opinion. Come at me, Bev. I don't know. You're not helping. Yeah, like she's probably butt buddies with Morrissey. Whether this is the thing too. As soon as you dip your toe and you fucking co-sign someone else's bullshit, you're a part of. And her behavior and the way that she has done rulings and like you did this to yourself, Beverly Canoni, you did this to yourself.
Is it okay if I present that really quick, that
oh please,
document with all? Okay, I've been waiting to share this. So thank you for letting me do this.
You're free range. Just let us know when. We'll share it up there on the stage.
Okay.
This is true. Wait, where did that just go? Wait, is that Jim Clown? They can easily, they only need 1 of 12 to force the hand. You're absolutely right, Jim Clown. And there is probably some
I think there's some stealth jurors coming in.
I hope so. I hope they have common sense. I hope they don't leave it at the door. I mean, I live in Norfolk.
I'm talking about stealth jurors for the Commonwealth.
Oh. Okay. So this is the document that I found. Again, it's from the 80s. It's unclassified as of, I think, 2010. But it's a chef's kiss, okay? So what is a RICO conspiracy? A group of people associated in fact who agreed to conduct the affairs of the court enterprise through bribery of the judge and courtroom personnel can be prosecuted as a RICO conspiracy. If that is not more specific to this case, I don't know what is. Courtroom personnel.
That is.
Who do we know? Okay. Fanning. The Chico. I forgot about you, the Chico. The Chico. I got you, boo. I got all of it.
He's up there, Proctor.
And because the DA's office has hired has the unit that they do with all of the MSP troopers, that in itself is a conflict. So that could be part of the courtroom personnel, because now we have Laura McLaughlin saying, hey, he was part of the security personnel, whatever I can't remember what she said, but she said that he was the head of the department for security over this case. Which case.
Not what he said on the stand for Turek.
Which
she's an underrated piece of shit, by the way.
When she does talk, it ain't much. Right. Weak ass bitch. But anyway, excuse my language. I do not like her. I do not.
Hey, Lally,
this channel, you're good.
Lally say his own name today, so.
Okay, so the judge, the hustlers, the bagmen, the sheriffs, the clerks, like everybody and their mama, if they conduct the affairs of the court, Bev, or anyone else, Jim, they're all they could be witnesses in the grand jury. So it only takes one. It only takes one to be like, all right, this sham. Okay, I don't want to go to prison.
I do have a question for you, Eve. When they put the alternate jurors in the ball machine thing, and you listen to that, do you believe that you actually hear 12 jurors' balls in there?
No.
I feel like there was literally 3. And those are the 3 that got chosen.
He barely looked at it. He didn't even turn it around. He went. I was like, that was quick. I'm so glad people picked up on that because I immediately picked up on Jim being shady as hell.
The 80s Catholic school wants their bingo fucking roller back. Sir. Jim.
And wants you to learn how to use it right.
Could they not do like a web version on the screen, you know? You're like,
even StreamYard has the
So I was thinking, let's just use that.
I need transparency with that. Yeah.
Put all the jurors' numbers and then spin the wheel in front of us.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And they, by the way, since we're on this topic, why didn't they grab the, there was something that she didn't grab. The juror, not the questionnaires, but nobody grabbed the information from the jurors. I think it was not guilty verdict, the originals. Yeah, that's weird because the jury commissioner's office should have that secured. I mean, they can take anything they want and keep it. They don't want to tell everybody that, but there are things that Bev isn't really being honest with. But anyway,
I looked up like with the foreman how she chose the foreman. Which, by the way, how do you choose a foreman before you choose your alternates?
Well, apparently in Massachusetts, it's automatically seat 1, but you can rig that by saying, oh, no. Like, is it the last person or the first person? Because we can figure that out. You know what I mean? Like, it's still.
And I don't believe it's the judges. The judges.
Verdict form. Thank you, Blue Eyes. Thank you. Yes.
Hey, Chris.
All right. So, so the RICO, you know, I just showed you before, like that's specifically for local cases being rigged. Okay. So the most powerful weapon in the federal prosecutor's arsenal, prosecutor, is well suited for use in judicial corruption prosecutions. This is where we're getting into Karen Mead's case, in my opinion. A person who conducts through a pattern of racketeering, directly or indirectly, the affairs of an enterprise with which the enterprise being Michael Morrissey's office.
Yeah.
And Brian Albert. Or whoever is the third party culprits are. So the affairs of the enterprise with which he is associated and which affect interstate commerce faces RICO conviction and possible forfeiture of his ill-gotten gains and interests. The enterprise may be the court system. Bev is the court system.
Bev is the court
system. But that also includes Jim. That also includes the court officers that may be relaying information, maybe.
About Lally and Brennan
drinking.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely Lally, Laura, and Spanky now.
Yep.
So the whole court system. RICO commerce is more easily satisfied than commerce under the Hobbs Act and blah, 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 blah. A person associates with the enterprise, even if he works against the goals of the enterprise. A person who bribes a prosecutor is still associated with the prosecutor's office. So what I think they're trying to get at is, even if, let's just say somebody turns on them and says, Michael Proctor's the one that did it, totally, bukkake. It's their fault. Look at them. They're the ones that did all the stuff. We didn't know as the DA's office that Proctor didn't hand over the 2 videos and it was just sitting in his file. Bullshit. It says right here, if you're associated with them, you all guilty. They're all is
part of the Commonwealth. They are the
everyone.
Babes, it's done. Like, you can't point your fingers now because you're associated with it.
Even if it's unbeknownst to you that you are a part of the RICO case, you can still be a part of it. Jim, You're not innocent in all this, ball boy. You don't. Yeah.
Well, and then they have like with the audit, they talked about how many times they asked for video and where it was stored. So that tells me none of that was written over. If we talk about all the videos that they have where they store it and how Proctor asked for it like 6 months or a year later, but February 2023, he asked for it to get another copy, and they had it and they downloaded everything. And then Rafferty said in October, she was like, oh, well, let's go ahead and get that to them because it shows Brian Higgins like she was some like martyr, like, oh my God, I totally found Brian Higgins on there. That you said no tampering, lol.
Right.
I mean, we have to understand who Bev is before she became a judge, though. She was a defense attorney. She defended some really bad people. And she knows a lot of people in Massachusetts, and Morrissey being one of them, and even higher than Morrissey. There's people above Morrissey that are probably just as shitty, if not worse than he is. Oh my God. So this is not Karen Reed related, but this will kind of blow your mind because this goes back to what's happening right here. You know, like the whole Diddy stuff. Bad man, right? Bad man.
Oh yeah.
He had his business partner that helped him open Bad Boy Records back in the 90s, late 80s, I don't remember. Gave him $150,000 to start Bad Boy Records. Come to find out, Puffy, this man is serving life in prison in Philadelphia, Detroit, somewhere. He's serving life in prison. There are multiple prosecutors who did affidavits to get this man out of jail because they were paid off by Puffy and his lawyer to put this man in jail for something that Puffy did because he didn't want to give back the $150,000. This man is a billionaire and he didn't want to pay him. And all of the police who helped and the prosecutors and all these people put an innocent man in prison for, I mean, how long ago was that? That was a long time ago. That was like 30 years ago. He's been sitting in prison for something that he didn't do. And the police and the prosecutors and Puffy and his lawyer orchestrated it.
Yep.
So this does
I know,
happen.
that's such a wild ride.
Yeah. This is something that's like still going on and people are like doing affidavits 30 years later. So imagine what this is going to be like in our twilight years, ladies, when we start seeing old Spanky at the Federal Building writing down affidavits. They made me do it.
Yeah, I don't
allegedly.
He's so egregious with his motions. He lies, and I'm like, you have to be protected in some way if you can lie like that, or you're baiting the judge to see if she'll allow it. I'll allow it, and she fucking did.
Or he won't write the motion. He'll just say, I don't like think it's, I'm not declining it, but let me tell you, like, and so he tells you in open court. So he doesn't actually have to put it in writing.
He just looks unprepared. He looks like he's new. Like I'm new here. Don't mind me. Lally, do you have my mocha? Like he looks like a deer in headlights. Like he's just there to fill space, to have a different name that's not associated with the Norfolk DA's office.
Well, he's definitely
extremely unprepared.
Fair trial.
I don't know, man. I just think that it's so out in the open and so just bad that I don't see somebody having like no worries about it, because there's so many violations. You could go to the bar and say, this is some bullshit. And I'm sure if they wanted to, the defense could. Anybody can write a complaint to the bar.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts or wherever. And I don't know. I just think that that's some Fed plant shit. That's what I think. Because he knows that if he makes a deal with the feds to give them information they need to potentially prosecute the enterprise, if you will, then he's the one that's putting it out there. The evidence that was not in the first trial is in the second one. It's coming into the second one now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to help hide it even more?
Right.
Like the original plan was?
Seen someone more scared of ARCA in your life? Because let me tell you.
Do you think that he really walked in not knowing anything, Eve?
Oh, no. He was.
Oh, he knew it all. I think he knew it all.
He knew it all.
Mm-hmm. He's a good actor. He misses. I mean, he really is good. A lot of people think I'm crazy for my federal plant stuff, but I'm telling you, one day,
in our lifetime, we're gonna find out. Yep.
I'll be 70 years old looking at the unclassified documents of Spanky being a federal plant, and I'm going to read it to the class on YouTube or whatever it is. I'm telling you.
4 motions to exclude ARCA.
I think it's to protect. I think it's to protect ARCA in a way. Well, not ARCA, but maybe potentially to not divulge too much into it, because now the defense has hired them, right? There's more that can come out now without saying it's the federal investigation. The defense has more leeway now to ask questions about specific findings that Bev would not allow, because it was the feds asked them or hired them. So I think that now they're scared to death.
Who thinks
what's going to come out?
Somebody's going to mess up purposely about the federal investigation?
What was that?
I said, who do you think is going to mess up purposely about hiding the federal investigation? Because I have a feeling the defense don't give a shit.
I mean, once you say it, it's a wrap. It was naturally put out there by a witness, right? So what was it last time? It was homeboy,
Turtle Boy.
What's his name? No, in the trial, Julie Nagel's Ryan Nagel.
Oh, Ryan Nagel. Yeah.
Oh, I think it was the feds. Man,
yeah, who's the Fed one?
I would have been like, "What do you mean by that?" Objection.
Right.
Well, they did the right thing. If it's out, once it's out the door, it's out. You can't take that back. So
what does it say?
I don't think ARCA will, but I don't know. Somebody needs to say it.
Someone has to say something. Yeah. As long as it comes out organically and nothing you can't put shit, I was going to say poop back in the horse.
Talking about 3 different trials. You've got 2 grand juries, one for regular, one for the federal investigation. Then you got the last thing. That's another thing I'm interested. I want to know if Jen McCabe's studying her transcripts, because I guarantee you they ain't gonna give her all those papers again.
Was the federal investigation mentioned in the audit, the Canton police audit?
I don't.
Was the what? I'm sorry, I was reading.
Was the federal investigation mentioned in the Canton police audit?
I don't think so. That's more about the MSP and the district attorney.
But they mentioned Sandra Birchmore, and they didn't.
That was a federally investigated case.
Yep.
I'm just trying to see of angles as to how they could just force the investigation into court.
Yeah, I mean, they can do the whoopsie. I mean, the thing is too is like the defense attorneys are so upstanding, they wouldn't have them do it. But if I was a witness, oops, did I say that? But
right, a grand jury over there. When you write a grand jury, it makes the jurors think it was Karen Reed's grand jury. No, it was not. That is so egregious to me that you would deny that for your third party. It's related to the third party culprit defense.
Yeah.
And what about that?
Why was Colin taken off there? Why? Because a part of me thinks it's because he was underage at the time of the crime, and she's just like, we're not doing that. But Allie McCabe literally said that Colin wasn't in the house when John was there. So there are 2 problems with that statement. Okay. So Colin was there when everyone was saying he wasn't. And so John was there, Allie. Can you verify what you just said? Can we confirm everything? Because you just said that John was there.
I would have asked if I were AJ. What do you
100%.
mean? When you just said he was there, John was there. What do you mean by that? And nail her ass. Nail her ass. Because she could say, "Oh well, that was just what has been portrayed."
Yeah. Well,
so do you know or do you not know?
I think that that text message should be should be called on the question more, because if you look at it, the date has a comma after it, and I'm sorry, but none of mine have a comma after it.
That fake ass text message. Come on now. I can't believe we're arguing about it. Like, to this day, the anti-Karen Reed dumbasses.
If it's a screenshot.
Beverly. That's why. Dumbass Beverly.
I know.
I mean, that would never happen anywhere else. A judge knows what a text message should look like. And if there's evidence to suggest otherwise, it just doesn't come in. And then maybe potentially a violation against, whoever let it, allowed it. Or did a voir dire of the witness or whoever it was that allowed that shit, which was Proctor. Didn't Allie give it to Proctor or Tully or something like that?
Well,
she just so happened to have this fucking screenshot. Allie, girl, no,
it's all just fuckery. So how do we think that this is? So we're getting jurors a lot faster than what we had planned, or what Beverly had planned for 3 weeks. I mean, we're just cruising right along. What do you think this trial is going to be like? Do you think it's going to be like a bigger fireworks, and we're going to find out a lot more, and it's going to be?
Yeah,
I have a feeling the defense knows a lot more than they're putting up.
I think Beverly's going to break the fuck down. I just feel like she's on her last leg or her last mimosa, whatever, and she's going to freak out
this morning.
It's going to get to her. She's not going to be able to handle. Something's going to come, and she's not going to be able to weasel her way or violation her way through it. There's something that she's going to be fucked. She's fucked. Yeah. And then the feds are going to bust in and cuff her. No, I'm just kidding. That would be great, though.
Well, if not her, Lally. Have you seen Lally?
Somebody.
He's looking real rough. I mean, the guy hates his life. Why is he there? Like, why embarrass him? Like, he could be he could be putting like real criminals away and not Karen Reed. Go have him work. Go have him do something.
Michael Morris.
Lally and Proctor mirror each other in that way of y'all got thrown to the wolves badly. Y'all are the fall guys for the section that you're in.
He's punishing him.
Yeah, they did him dirty. Yeah, but he signed up for it. He's a willing participant. You're part of the RICO case, Lally. Hope you're ready. Hope you look good.
It's an enterprise, boo. Once you're in, that's it.
Once you're in.
Yeah,
No, Lally. Well, yeah, I think Hank's watching X because he introduced McLaughlin and Lally the first 2 days or something, and then all of a sudden people they're starting to introduce themselves. And
yeah, he talked for the first time today.
Yeah. I feel I part of me at least if you're going to shame the guy and get him kicked off the case, get him kicked off the case. Keep him at the DA's office and give him a different case, give him a different case.
Well, that's another thing. Why are there so many special prosecutors?
Because there's so many conflicts.
They have 70 lawyers and there's 88.
76.
76. So why do we have a special prosecutor in Aiden's case, a special prosecutor in Karen's case? There were special prosecutors for the duck case. There's another special prosecutor. I'm like,
everybody's conflicted out. They can't. Morrissey's office can't investigate.
Morrissey's the problem. He is so fucking corrupt that he doesn't want to do anything that will jeopardize being liable for prosecuting anyone involved. Even slightly.
But so then you get Hank Brennan, and it's like, what purpose is he serving exactly?
According to Christina Rex, one person that was already chosen from earlier in the week dropped out. for personal reasons, I guess. And then they seated one person today. So it's still 10, 5 women, 5 men.
Who said that some jurors, I think there were a few that were like, are you going to be unable to understand, or there was a language barrier? And immediately 4 jurors were like, yep, I can't understand a fucking thing. Sorry. And you're like, okay. You understood Beverly in clear English and you responded by raising your hand. So
me no English. Oh, and
they lied.
Someone, I forget who I was watching or reading, Karen asked to, you know how people can have like aids in their ears if you're hard of hearing, if you're whatever.
Yeah.
Karen was denied by Bev a right for a disabled person. She has MS and it's gross.
Oh, it's all the players up there, and she wants to hear what the hell's going on, and she wants to have a say in what's happening.
Right.
I think that there is a committee for the court, the Superior Court, that is all about that fair treatment shit. So that's not fair treatment to me if you're going to make someone who has needs accommodation,
right,
to suffer. Because if she has to get up and down, that's going to wear her out with how many times they go to sidebar all damn day.
I don't know how she's still looking damn good and showing up at court every day, because
she's killing it.
She is killing it. I love her outfits. Oh, I love her shoes too.
Right? She always looks good. And she wears heels with her MS. Like, you go, girl, with the pumps. I love it.
I can't wear heels.
I'm a wedges type.
I'm like 6 feet tall when I wear heels.
I got them wobbly ankles if I wear high heels. It's unfortunate.
I've sprained my ankles at least every 6 months my entire life that I've been on crutches, and broke my ankle, and like my ankles are so bad. My husband doesn't let me wear heels, and I wore heels to my mom's. Glenn decided to show up.
Yes.
I wore to my mom's funeral. I wore heels.
Hey, Glenn.
The time I walked from my car to the church pew, they were off because my ankles were shaking, and I was like, I'm gonna fall on my butt. I'm like, I can't do this. So I literally walked around barefoot because I couldn't do it.
I'll rock some heels if I have to. I'm just afraid that stem is gonna break and and it's a wrap. So I just stick to wedges. Let's just keep it safe.
I hear ya.
Err on the side of caution.
Too clumsy.
Wait, what's wrong with pickle chips? I love fried pickles. Is that what you're talking about, Scott? Because don't threaten me with a good time. I'll smash some fried pickles.
When they got her on the news, she was coming back from lunch, finishing her pickle chips, and they were like, "So, how do you feel?" And she was like, "I'm sorry, I'm trying to finish my pickle chip."
They ambushed her. She was like, "Damn, I'm just trying to get a snacky snack in between this shit," and they just boom.
Yes,
it was mean.
God.
Absolutely. So it's 8:30. Oh my God. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. I apologize.
How did it become 8:30 already? Holy crap.
I know.
Ooh, it's a raid party. Amy's just doing the flashes.
For some reason it keeps shutting off, and then it's like, I don't know. I don't want to keep you, Eve. I could talk all night if you could stay as well.
Same.
It's just is there anything else? I had something. I should have written it down. This is why I have to write stuff down. I need to take notes. I'm bad at that.
We need to do like a part 2 with Eve.
Yeah. God, there's so much going on up here.
Yes.
This is just like a filing cabinet of insanity. Just so many things.
We can do part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't care. I love hanging out with you. You're so much fun.
Real quick, did y'all know that in the first trial, in like one of the more recent pre-trial hearings, I think it was on April 16th, that she did not allow the defense to open with that Karen believes that there was
a third party
an altercation. No, that there was an altercation. Not that it was somebody involved, but an altercation. As a reason for, and she goes, no, I'm not going to allow that sentence because it makes her have burden of proof. Karen. Okay, and the burden of proof has already been proven in pretrial motions. My God, the Julie report. So, and Bev, who cares?
Right. Actually, there is a woman on the list this time that was not on the first time, and it's one of the nurses from Good Sam Hospital in Brockton. And I think that, and it's for the defense, I think they're having her, this is just speculation. I don't know, people. Don't come at me if it's not. They're having her come in to say that he looked like he got fucking went around with Tyson. Isn't that what Bukkake said when he saw his face? He's like, he looked like he was punched in the face hard.
Paul said that.
Paul, thank you, Paul.
Which, by the way, Paul and Aaron, 2 different cities on the witness list.
I watched him today, the trial day 1, and I was like, oof, because he was like, my wife and I live in with my kids, right? What are they going to say this time?
Well, I hope, they do a breath level when he gets on the stand first, just to make sure he's not still drunk.
So. And they still have Erin on there. I feel bad for Erin. Like, just let Erin go be herself and leave her alone. She's had a hard time.
I think
she got done dirty.
Yeah, she did.
Jesus.
And I don't think she has much to offer that Paul doesn't, right? They had the same story. Karen was great. She was great with the kids. She gave them Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, she spoiled them. Shame on her.
How dare you?
How dare you get them Dunkin' Donuts? Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, he's using it as a dating site, and he got called out.
I just thought about the glazed donuts. Oh God.
Oh. Imagine getting that bathroom selfie. I'd be like, this was unsolicited and you should take it back, sir, with your dad bod. Not that I like a good dad bod, don't get me wrong.
And you could have left it out, but I get it. You got to go full hand.
Left it out.
I get it.
Could have left it out. Yeah.
I think Aiden left a lot out, though. There was a lot more text that he had, I think.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Aiden he's been a lot calmer.
Return to sender. Yeah.
It's been a very
those 60 days, man. It'll calm me down a little bit.
I think Meredith too. Meredith has a lot to do with that. Telling him to knock it off.
Thank God for I think that she is the yin to the yang there. I really do.
She's the brake pedals in that relationship.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. My son is giving his caretaker a hard time.
And I got
it's been real. Will you come back with us, Eve?
Absolutely. Anytime. Just let me know.
That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks, girls.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Later.
Later.